Welcome here, everybody. Got another great episode of the Contractor Business Podcast. I got a special guest, Erik Jensen here. He's the owner of Sprucehill Homes. How are you doing today, Erik?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me, Derek. It's great to be here.
Definitely. Been looking forward to this for a while, and great to have you on here. So,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely. Can you tell us a bit about yourself, your background, and the idea behind Sprucehill Homes?
Sure. Yeah. My name's Erik Jensen. I'm the owner of Sprucehill Homes. We are a renovator, custom home builder, designer located in North Vancouver. I have been doing this since 2006 already. It's hard to believe. My background is in computer science, actually. So I got my degree in computer science from UBC. There's a bit of a story behind how I got into construction, but nonetheless, that's what happened. And now I'm running a pretty awesome construction company. I'm pretty happy with it.
Definitely. I've got firsthand knowledge working with Erik back in the day. You know, some of the really a great company all around, and you're a big part of that.
Nice.
Facilitating that. One of the things you guys do is design build. Can you talk a bit about how you incorporated design into your building practices and how you manage the design side of the business?
Yeah. So we work with our clients to figure out what's going on. Now, which part of it do you want to know? Like how we came to have the design side of things, or how we operate the design side of things?
What was the decision to include design in your company? Let's start with that.
Yeah, so we found there was a couple of things that were happening on a fairly frequent basis. One of which was a serious lag time between problems coming up on the job site and solutions and answers and revised drawings, which was very frustrating from a scheduling perspective. The other thing that we saw a lot of was people spending literally tens of thousands of dollars on floor plans and designs for projects that were financially unfeasible. And so, we just saw it over and over and over and over again. So we had a number of clients over the years say, like, why aren't you guys doing design in-house? Like, why aren't you guys doing this? And I can't remember how long it was ago now, 5-6 years maybe. And we decided that, let's give it a go. And so we promoted one of the people from within the organization to designer, and we started doing design work. She had some experience on it. Mm-hmm. And we started offering that service to our clients and haven't really looked back since.
Yeah. Awesome. Were there any challenges incorporating design and building that into your business, or was it pretty streamlined?
Having enough work, I would say. I would say you probably need roughly 2 project managers for one designer, maybe 3. Yeah. As far as ratios go, like one designer can kick out enough work for at least 2 project managers at any given time.
Yeah. Definitely. So growing a business over 17 years now, how long has it been?
Yeah, 17 years. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. Obviously, you've been through probably a whole number of challenges, made some mistakes along the way. What stands out as some big challenges or mistakes that have come up, and how did you overcome them in your journey?
Find me a day or a week where we don't make mistake. It's just a part of living, I think. One of the journeymen I worked for back in the day, he said, Erik, the only people that don't make mistakes are those that stay at home and do nothing at all. And I really took that to heart when he said that. And I was like, fair point. In terms of one of the biggest mistakes that actually there's 2 now that I think about it. The one that I kind of prepped for this interview though was I was building a house, the first new home build that I'd ever built for myself. And we had built the window wells as it were drawn on the drawings that we had. But I guess somewhere along the line, somebody else had marked up drawings to say that the window wells needed to be slightly deeper to meet egress for building code. And so we had to jackhammer and cut a bunch of concrete window wells away and make them deeper and re-pour them. And that was a tough lesson to learn. And I would say you're not going to ever find anybody that doesn't make mistakes, but I would suggest that the reason folks should consider hiring a professional is they've already made the mistakes that you're going to make. And, I think, people go to university and college or whatever else, and they're like, oh, I paid $100,000 for my, bachelor degree or whatever else. Well, yeah, I'm not sure what the number is, but let's say I've probably paid $200,000 for my construction degree. And, you just make mistakes, you learn from them, and you make sure you don't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah, definitely. Take it in stride and seek expert advice and learn from others is definitely a huge,
it's all you can do. Yeah.
Huge part of it. Definitely.
Yeah.
So one thing with Sprucehill is you guys have a really great culture. I think the team is very supportive of each other. And I know you've talked about it before where, when you hire someone, you're hiring them for the long term. Can you talk about how you facilitate great culture inside your business?
Well, so first of all, thank you very much for the kind words. That's a very nice compliment. I appreciate that and really appreciate that. My father was a business owner. My mother-in-law was a business owner. Over the years, I've gotten lots of great free advice from those people. My dad, I think, consults for several $100s an hour for people nowadays. But I would say, for me, like, an organization is a collection of people, and an organization is nothing without those people. So if you want to be one of the best organizations out there, you have to have great people. And if you want to have great people, you have to treat them great, and you have to make it feel as much of like what a family feels like as you can. I mean, of course, you're running a business, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a couple laughs every now and then and get everybody together. So, I look really hard to try and find things to do collectively with the entire team. We get together for every month. I take everybody out for appies and beers or wine, whatever, or soda. If you're not a drinker, you don't have to drink. Was it orange juice in your case?
I enjoyed my share of orange juice every now and then. Yeah.
Yep.
And a good cold one as well. Yeah.
Yep. Well, sure. I mean, there's no judgment. It's, you do you, and as long as you can get everybody together and get everybody in the same room and get some conversation going, I think that's really important.
Yeah.
We do a company camping trip. We are going to start doing a couple of other things. My advice is to just look for things that your people want to do, and ideally you want to do too.
Yeah, so important having that team environment. I know you guys have pretty regular meetings, like touching base with your field crew, management meetings and things like that to really get everybody cohesive, make sure everyone's aligned on, you can maybe share some of your values that you have as a company now too. Like I find that really important, and something that I really enjoyed is your Thea and some other just kind of having everyone, like having those regular meetings and alignment with all the people across the organization. I felt really built the team.
Interesting. Well, that's good feedback to hear. Yeah, I like that. I would say, I think keeping all of the major stakeholders together and getting together on a regular basis, is really important. And I think giving everybody a voice. I don't know how you feel, but I feel like I do a pretty good job of really making space for other people to talk and offer their opinion and have the ability to make change.
Yes, definitely. And that's a huge thing. And I think a big opportunity for a lot of, business owners and contractors is to be able to listen to your team and facilitate ideas. And, it builds culture, but it also really builds a great business, because now it's not just you as the, the figurehead making all the decisions, coming up with all the new stuff. It's, enabling your organization to improve the business, and it creates buy-in as well from employees and people that are involved with the organization when they can share their thoughts and be part of the action. So yeah, really great points there. What's some of the best advice you've received throughout your career?
Stop talking.
Yeah,
STFU, that is the best advice I have ever received. Yeah. Listen, that's probably the best advice I've ever received. Yeah. Hard to do.
Definitely. And what have you done to improve your listening? And can you think of like specific instances where you need to remind yourself to do it?
Well, I need to remind myself to do it every moment I'm breathing. In terms of, stuff that I've worked on is if I recognize or if I can hear the sound of my own voice more than I'm hearing the sound of others, I know that I need to shut up and ask other people questions and make sure that space is made for those people. And what I mean by making space for your listeners or viewers, I'm not sure how this goes out. Cool. But what I mean by that is sometimes people have a bit of a spin up cycle. Some of us are just like instant off the cuff. We're ready to start talking. Other people need 3, 4, 5 seconds, and it sometimes feels like forever. But if you give people that time, that space to get ramped up and start contributing what they're going to contribute, it's incredible the sort of information and the sort of things you'll learn.
Yeah, great point. Gives people some space to express themselves. And yeah, like you said, everybody's different. Some people are going to be, right in there in the conversation and just throwing stuff at you. And other people maybe need a little bit of space or, a good directed question to kind of share their thoughts and things like that.
It's shocking. The people that are the quietest in general, like those are the ones that I really work very hard on to make space for, because they're the ones that are least likely or at least, really willing to want to contribute. And frequently, those people have some of the greatest ideas.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned earlier, you had a computer programming background degree. I know that plays a heavy role in some of the systems and processes and kind of the way you organize your business. Can you share 3 kind of simple tips that business owners, contractors could use to help organize and systematize their business?
Well, I don't know that I have. That's a tough question. Systematize.
So I know you guys use Smartsheets quite extensively.
Yeah, we use Smartsheets and QuickBooks as our primary systems. I would say find a system and use it and be unapologetic about using it.
Yep.
I think having a program, having a system, having a way that you want your projects to go, having a set, not necessarily in stone, but like a fairly good guideline as to how you want your clients to experience their project, it's extraordinarily important. And knowing what your boundaries are and not going beyond what your boundaries are is just as important. There's lots of times where clients have asked me to do things that I just didn't feel comfortable doing, and I just said no. And, in my younger years, I would have said yes for sure, because you want to be agreeable, you want to be nice, you want to help somebody out. And, I still make the same mistake every now and then, but, what's the saying? No good deed goes unpunished is,
yeah.
Is that the saying? So, have your system, like know how you want to run your business, know how you want to run your projects, and don't vary from it. If you want to have your projects go from start to finish, then do that. Don't do somebody a favor and, take their project to lockup. Inevitably, the person will have no idea how to properly finish drywall, how to get the painting done. And then if a roughen's in the wrong place, then you're going to look like a schmuck. And it just doesn't, it's not a good way to go, in my humble opinion.
Absolutely. When you're, operating your business, is there any kind of trigger or key kind of time when it's like, we need to improve our system, or we need to find something to change how we do this? Have you had any of those kind of aha moments, or where do you kind of go, like, we need to figure something out here because this isn't working?
I never stop changing. Never. I mean, since you've worked here, we've made changes. We are never ever changing or never ever stopping changing. Yeah. And I think you have to continually adapt and improve. And I guess to answer your question more directly is, if I see that something could have gone differently and better, then, and also, is this a repeatable problem? Like if it's a one-off and it's like, oh, well, that sucked, but I'm never going to come across this problem again in the future. So there's no point in, getting upset about it, whatever. But if it's something like budgeting, project timing, client expectations, contracts, warranty, that's a huge one. Warranty. Like, make sure you got like a really good warranty clause in your contract. Make those changes when you need to. And again, look to others for help. Yeah,
great points there for sure. And continually improvement, right? Constantly be improving. Look for ways that you could be doing things better, and clue in if, something is a challenge or a problem, or especially if it's reoccurring, then for sure, got to figure something out. Yeah.
Well, you do. And, Derek, if you're not improving, and if you're just staying at the status quo, lots of other people around you are going to be improving, and you're going to get left in the dust. I mean, to me, like the latest thing that I can really see as being a thing for builders and contractors is technology, and if folks don't adapt and embrace technology in how they manage their projects and run their businesses, they're very quickly going to find themselves left in the dust, because it is a huge component of finding efficiencies.
Definitely. Is there any technologies on the horizon that you feel are up and coming?
Honestly, no. I haven't seen anything. It'll be interesting to see what AI does to business systems and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We certainly use ChatGPT to help write blog posts and stuff like that. But I mean, it doesn't help us run our projects. We don't use it for writing emails or responding to clients. And again, even though you can't, you use AI to, get the ball moving, it's not a slam dunk. You're going to have to make changes to it. Like, it requires still some human input.
Yeah, I think one thing I remember is you talked about, project managers are always, juggling a lot of balls, or anybody in the business for that matter. And there's a lot of soft skills involved with contracting, a lot of, scheduling, weather, a lot of variables anyways. So that kind of stuff definitely takes a competent person to be able to manage and do all that. AI is, a helpful tool, but it's not going to be replacing those abilities for sure. Can you tell me about a success story of a client, one that sticks out in your mind, and tell us like kind of a walkthrough of their journey and how you help them get from, concept to completion?
Certainly can. So I actually thought of two. I got two that I thought were really great. We had a really phenomenal set of clients in West Van. We did a whole home renovation for them. We completely rejigged the floor plan on the main and lower floors. We added a pool to the backyard, and the results were exquisite. And we did another project for some clients in Inland Valley where we did a second story addition, and we added some space to the back, and I think we added some space to the front, and we added space up top, of course.
Perfect.
And I think what makes projects successful are great clients. That's really important. Finding good clients and people that really appreciate what you do really can suck the lifeblood out of you if you're working for people that really don't appreciate what you're doing for them. That to me is huge. Then great design. You got to have you got to have an amazing goal that you're looking or working towards, and obviously great construction and great quality like we do here at Sprucehill.
Yeah, definitely bringing all the pieces together there. Love what you talked about clients, and I agree you guys have some amazing clients that you work with. Any tips or advice or ways that you help to ensure you're working with great people or attracting the right people that have a good fit with your company?
Yeah, honestly, Derek, I think it's a business model. I think if you are trying to be a cost cutter, fixed price business model, you might find the occasional good client, but usually you're finding somebody that is purely motivated by cost. And that person is not going, it's just going to be questioning every decision, every dollar, and it does not make the project fun. That does not mean that I think it's okay to flippantly spend people's money. Do not get me wrong. Like, as you know, I do not take that.
Yeah. And you have the systems and the clarity for clients to see exactly what's happening, right?
Yeah. I think just making sure that you have clients that understand what it's going to cost to get where it's going to go. And also just people that are willing to have a conversation. Construction and contracting is many times has been compared like a marriage, right? And it really is very similar to that. It's a relationship, and it's really important to make sure that you're interviewing clients as much as they're interviewing you, and that you feel like the person that you're going to be working with for the next 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, year and a half, whatever it is, that you can have honest conversations with one another and talk to each other and make sure that you can find solutions to problems and work through things, because it is inevitable that you're going to have a couple of tough talks along the way. And you just want to make sure you're working with people that are amenable to, compromise, I guess is the best way to look at it.
Yeah, definitely. I think you do that really well with clients and have that personal touch. Another thing I know you do really well too is setting like really good expectations up front.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a little bit about that, of how you kind of set up a relationship for success, early on with clients?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big proponent of not lying. You'd mentioned earlier about talking about Thea, transparency, honesty, integrity, accountability. Yep. Those are core values to me. And, I feel like if you start a relationship off based off of a lie, it's usually not going to end very well. And so, can you know the entire truth before you start any project? Of course not. Unless you have X-ray vision and incredible predictive skills, knowing that plywood is going to, what did it do? Quadruple in price in 2020 Or
Yeah.
was it? Did it quadruple? Was it?
I don't know exactly, but I know, yeah, materials were just off the rails for sure. Like,
Yeah. So if you have incredible
inflation.
predictive powers, then,
Yeah.
maybe. So just
Mhm.
having expectation conversations. And if something does go wrong, get in front of it. If you are trying to spin a story after it's coming back to you and you're getting confronted about something, you're going to have a very difficult time, moving forward when you're on your heels. Whereas if you make a mistake or there's an issue or something like that, get proactive, make a phone call, get in front of it, and let them know that something's come up. Have a conversation about it. Let them know that you're working on it. If you've already found a solution, share that and just talk, communicate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big character growth moment, and I've had that before where something has gone inevitably not as planned, and you've got to call the client and let them know this is what happens, and try not to put a whole bunch of judgment or bad vibes on it, but it's just get it out in the open, have the conversation, clear the air. And I think 99% of clients would be super appreciative of you just being honest, direct, and approaching it together of this is the challenge, how do we overcome it, and you're on the same side, you're on the same team. Essentially, you both want a successful project.
Their success is your success. I mean, I think everybody in this business is looking for referrals, and if you're not, you're crazy, because that's the easiest way to find new clients. And so the best way to get referrals is to have happy clients. So
for sure.
Manage those expectations.
Yeah. So I have a final question, but just for our viewers and listeners out there, what's the best way for people to connect with you?
Website's probably the best way. www.sprucehill.ca. I did have a couple of other comments that I thought I could share with your viewers if you were so interested.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll put a link in the description for you to go check out the website there, and get to learn more about them and be able to connect with Erik and his team. But yeah, final words of wisdom or thoughts or comments, all ears here.
Yeah. So you suggested that there were maybe 3 actionable items that your viewers and listeners could consider doing. I try not to preach. Yeah. These are my suggestions. Number 1, take at least one day off a quarter, ideally one day off a month, and work on your business. Think about what's going on in your business, what's working well, what's not working well. Think about, the next 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, 12 to 24, 24 to 5, and take a moment to just look forward and make sure that things are moving in the direction you want them to. That's number 1. Number 2 is pick one thing you want to improve on every year and improve it unapologetically. Move the ball down the field. Pick one thing. You don't have to pick everything. Just pick one thing and make it better. And year after year after year after year, you're gonna have a lot of things that are better. Trust me, it works. And my other suggestion is to become a member of any association or group where you can make contact with other people in the same type of business that you're in, because it is incredible. Like, one of the things I found most amazing of the construction industry, and maybe this is local to Vancouver, I don't know what other markets are like, but I was blown away by how quickly and readily people are willing to share their information about how they run their business, what they charge their labor out, what their overhead and markup is, what software they use. It blew my mind how quickly people were willing to share that stuff. And so get yourself in a position where you can ask those people questions, and you don't have to figure it out on your own. There's lots of people that you can ask questions from. Absolutely
stronger together, and great points there. Definitely take time out, schedule time to work on your business. What you mentioned with connecting with other people in the industry, and it's really like collaboration. It just puts you and the other person, like, you're stronger together, being able to collaborate. Like, there's always the people that view everything competitively, and you may run into those people, but a lot of business owners, they've been through the same struggles and difficulties that you've been through, and they're more than happy to share what they've learned, and
absolutely
you can just learn so much. So thank you so much for coming on here, Erik. Really appreciate you've shared.
Thanks for having me.
It's a great little window into the great work that you're doing at Sprucehill. So thanks so much.
Thanks for having me, Derek. Great to see you.